All right, welcome in. It is Friday. It's time for Total Bases. We've made it to the weekend. Tokyo Brandon is back, and we've got a full slate of Major League Baseball games to get into. Your go-to show for Major League Baseball on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Bryan, Leonard, and I did a show yesterday. Bryan, great call on the Marlins. Unfortunately, the Pirates ruined the two-teamer earlier in the day. But hopefully you guys all played the Marlins in some fashion, because that game went exactly as we kind of talked that it would. A rare sandwich type spot in baseball where you have a team that just came off the biggest series of their season in a sweep, and they have a huge look ahead spot to tonight. The look ahead being the now much anticipated debut of Jonah Tong, who's going to get the ball for the Mets. And what did that produce yesterday? Exactly what Bryan said. A sloppy game, 3 errors from the Mets, and really just outplayed for 9 innings in a game the Marlins won 7-4. So let's start there tonight. Citi Field's going to probably be rocking. It's a Friday night. Mets fans are feeling good after the way the last week has went. And Jonah Tong, top pitching prospect in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion, and I guess everyone's now, even though we were ahead on that, is getting the ball on his home field. Mets Marlins, is the value gone with the Mets though at this point? Minus 175.
Yeah, at least the top pitching prospect, no doubt. And they've been excited. I've been excited, and I know you have. You got Yuri Perez against Tong, and the Mets are making you pay for it, or the bookmakers, is you're laying about 175 here on the Mets, total of 8. If the only thing I'm worried about is it's his first game in the majors. He's a right-hander. Those don't tend to go as well as a lot of people think. And he's going against Yuri Perez, who's really good. And he got Miami off of the win, so they're going to come in confident. That said, everything I read about Tong is he's going to be a star. And the Mets are finally bringing these guys up, and it's definitely going to help come the rest of the season and the playoffs. The Mets don't have to win every game, just like the other teams I've talked about. They've all locked in their playoff positions, or at least their spots in the playoff, which means much more than the seeding in the playoffs. And we've noticed that so much in the NBA. You want to play certain teams, and they'll tank a few games at the end to play somebody else, and they don't care. Because a lot of that is because in Major League Baseball, your home team only wins about 53 to 54% of the time, whereas in the NBA and other sports, it's a lot higher than that. So it's more of who's making the playoffs as opposed to what your deal is, unless you're getting a bye in the first round or something, and that may make a difference. But I like Tong. I like Perez, which means I would prefer the under here. Let me take a look at today's weather. Citi Field is expected to be 15% lower than a league average team. They normally are lower scoring. So that's the way I would look here. I would look to play the under this. You're getting 8. There's a few that you can get 8 even money, but overall 8 minus 110 to 120 or 7.5 to the over. If you can get that 8, I think that's probably a pretty good bet.
Yeah, sorry I missed yesterday. I was just out of it. I couldn't even. Oh man, I was just in bad shape last night, but I feel much better today. Regarding this one, Tong's kind of a X factor, obviously, because he's never pitched in Major League Baseball before. Looking at Miami, I have them ranked 26th or worse in every category except starting pitching here. So I think it's Mets or nothing here. I don't know if I'll be brave enough to take Mets with a guy making his MLB debut on the mound, but Miami's not really hitting well, and their bullpen certainly is not playing well. Despite yesterday's loss, I still have the Mets ranked number 2 in run production in current form. Their bullpen is below average, performing below average. So that's kind of a scare. But I don't know. Maybe, it Mets or nothing for me, but I probably won't play it.
Bryan, what does the weather look like from a ball, what's the park factor type weather tonight at Citi Field? Can you have that up?
Yeah. The wind is blowing to right field with anywhere from 11 to 14 miles an hour as the game goes on. The air pressure pretty even. The temperature is 72 to 75, so it's not really a hot game. And everything combined shows that it'll be 15% lower. Normally it's lower, and this is the best pitching park in baseball. I talked about Texas earlier in the season, but as it's warmed up, they've gotten a little bit more scoring there. But this is a pretty good ballpark. I always look to take unders on because you've got obviously the ballpark's that way. But keep in mind, the Mets right now, over the last 14 days, lead Major League Baseball in WRC plus of 163. Now, that's good for the last 14 days. But every time a team gets hot, they cool down. And anytime a team is cool, they get hot, unless you're the Cleveland Guardians offense. Other than that, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. If some teams at 163, like the Yankees, are at 152, and the Mets are at 163, they're both very good hitting teams. I would expect them to be in the 120 range, 115. So there's going to be a little bit of negative regression there coming with the bats for the Mets, and I would expect that today.
Yeah, I asked because I think that helps me make a case for the under here. So I was at Jonah Tong's last start, was in Syracuse, so I was at the game, and he's only pitched 2 starts in AAA. Totally dominant. 17. I think he went 11 and 2/3, 17 strikeouts, 0 runs. The only, and it's not even a criticism. The reason I asked is because the only really threat he gave up last week against a very good Indianapolis lineup, because of course, you saw me complaining on Twitter, Indianapolis, their lineup is all guys that the Pirates should have in their lineup for whatever reason. They still are down at AAA. He gave up a couple of long fly balls, and I think we might see him be a fly ball pitcher. It makes sense. He throws in my opinion, Tong's X factor pitch is his changeup. So I think you're going to see him be comfortable with giving up the fly ball and getting outs that way. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't kind of stepping into a scenario where the ball was going to carry and he was going to give up some long home runs. But as Bryan has so eloquently pointed out, Citi Field tends to be a pretty good pitcher's park, and it doesn't seem like the ball is going to carry more than it normally would tonight. So that to me is favorable for Tong, who everything else he's shown this year, the ability to throw strikes, to mix it up, has been very, very good. And I don't think that really changes here against a Marlins lineup that, they're not AAA by any means, but they still have a lot of young guys, still a lot of hitters that are similar to the hitters that he's been facing, especially, Kyle Stowers out. They are going to get Connor Norby back tonight. So that's something to note. If you're betting the Marlins, you do get Norby back, which is a big addition, but he's not Stowers in my opinion. So I still think that the Marlins lineup has you have to downgrade them a little bit since the injury. So yeah, I could see Tong having some success. On the other side, you've got Yuri Perez, who's been tremendous. Expected ERA is under 3. Expected batting average is under the Mendoza line, boys. 198 for Yuri Perez expected batting average this year. That's awesome. That's a really good mark. I don't know that there's many starting pitchers in the league with a better expected batting average than Yuri Perez right now. So I actually make the number here 7.5, and I'm seeing quite a few 8s out there. I like the under here too, Bryan. That's probably the only way I would bet this game.
Yeah, Perez is in the 13th percentile in ground ball percent, so he's a fly ball pitcher also. And I'm not too worried about him giving up the home runs here. So, I think I went 5-1 overall yesterday, 3-0 in baseball. It wasn't anything I loved, but everything I liked came in. And this one made me up my card. I do like the under in this one.
Yeah, and it gives me even more sort of confidence to say that, knowing that the park should play should do its part here. Because again, those are I think you're going to see 2 very good pitching performances. And if they can get away with giving up a couple fly balls that don't leave the ballpark, I think you're looking at something like 3-2, 4-3 type game. Mm-hmm. Good stuff there. Colin Gregory says, don't overlook the debut of Peyton Toll today facing Paul Skeens. Yeah, this one kind of snuck up on me. Peyton Toll was in Double-A. He may have even been in A-ball to start the year. I know he spent most of his season at Double-A, got to Worcester for a couple starts, and Bryan Leonard, the Red Sox must really like what they see, because they could have easily called up Kyle Harrison in this spot, who's been much better at AAA and was, of course, the guy that they traded Devers for. So you would think that the Red Sox, I guess maybe would have had him in mind to get him up, try to see if they could show the fan base, hey, this is what we made the move for. But they said, nope, let's go with the prospect over Harrison, who's pitched well. That's I think I want to make that point. Kyle Harrison has been great for Worcester over the last 5-6 starts, and yet they're going to go with Toll. So interesting stuff there. Hasn't had a ton of time at AAA. And then, of course, we know all about Paul Skeens, who will be opposing him at Fenway Park tonight. So Pirates, Red Sox, any lean for you here?
Yeah, just imagine your first major league start. You finally get up there and you got to go against Paul Skeens in your first start. But, I'm sure he's very happy to get his chance. We're taking a look at the line here, and I've read a lot about him. I don't know as much about him as you do, so I'll let you explain anything. But basically, we're looking at sort of a pick 'em right now. Boston's 108 favorite, total 8 to the under. Let's check out the ballpark here before we look at that. Let's see. Fenway Park, wind blowing out. Wind's blowing out. They expect 19% more runs than a normal major league game. So with the total right here at 8, that's a low total anyway for Boston. Maybe in the second half of the game after the starters are out, maybe we'll be able to play some live and get the over. But I obviously we love Skeens, no doubt about it. The guy's terrific. But even though he's as good as he is, he's only 8-9 on the season, 2.07 ERA, 2.58 expected, 0.94 WHIP. When you take a look at tolls, I don't have any of the information on here since it was a late. I read about it, the possibility that they would call him up, but the sites that I use don't have him listed yet. It's still 6:00 in the morning out here in Vegas, so both spots where I look for that kind of information, there's nothing there. So you know more about it than I do, so I'll let you explain it from that point.
Everyone, please go to the replay of this show and give us a comment and a like, and subscribe to Wager Talk's YouTube channel, because when people put single videos out, you will get a notification on that. And we have a lot of good cappers here at Wager Talk. Go visit our pages as well. So regarding this one, I'm not going to mess with another pitcher that I don't really know much about and doesn't have a lot of experience at the major league level. What I do know is that Paul Skeens is really good. And what I also know is I have Boston batting number 19 out of 30 in current form. So I would probably look at Boston's team total under here. The Pirates bullpen's playing really solid right now. And I'm surprised I'm saying that, because they've never really been known for a team to have a great bullpen, but they're playing really well right now. I would say Boston's team total under, either in the first 5 under 1.5, or in the game for 3.5. If you could stretch that to 4.5 on an alt, I would take that under as well. I don't think Boston's going to crush Skeens here. He did get crushed by the Rockies and the Brewers, but very rare that he gets crushed. So I don't think he will today either. That's the way I would go.
Yeah, this is another one that's 8 on the total that I think maybe should be 7.5. The Red Sox looked a little tired yesterday in that game. I don't know if it was just they needed to get out of town or whatever, but what was not their sort of best performance. I didn't think they had great at bats against Povich, and maybe they're just kind of in need of a day off. I feel like the Red Sox have played every day. Someone would have to check that. I feel like they've played every day. I can't remember the last time they've had a day off. But again, if the dog days are getting to you at all, Skeens is not the guy you really want to go and have to face if you're not totally locked in. Do you guys? Before I get into Toll, Do you think Skeens gets fired up to be at Fenway here? Like, is this an exciting start for him?
I would think so. If you're a young player, you don't get to play the American League very often. Other maybe Yankee Stadium and Fenway would probably be the two, although it's not really Yankee Stadium anymore. By the way, the last time the Red Sox had a day off was on August 20th, so it's not that long. They had a 1-day break after playing Baltimore and taking on New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I think these young guys would get fired up for any of the traditional stadiums like Wrigley, Yankees, Boston, Dodgers. They get fired up for that stuff, I think. A lot more than the Guardians and the Royals.
And it's an important point because, like, you know, you're getting to the point of the season. It's September. The Pirates are clearly out of it. Like, there's a couple different ways that can go. If a guy's gonna and we've talked about this before, like Skeens doesn't seem like one of those guys that's ever really gonna like not like show up and give the full effort. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, there's mid-September Pirates playing a team that's out of it, or getting to go to Fenway Park in a game that is going to have a playoff atmosphere for the Red Sox, because of course any Friday night at Fenway when the team is half decent is always packed, and it's going to be a good atmosphere. I think Skeens might feed off of that a little bit. As far as Tolle, he did start Toll, however you pronounce his name. Bryan, he's a lefty, so you love him, and you know that's your type of profile of a guy coming up. He did start the year at high A. I only watched one of his starts for Worcester. Was very good. Has really dominated pretty much every level of minor league baseball so far this year. 133 strikeouts in 91 2/3 innings. It's pretty good. A 0.99 whip, and his batting average against in the minors this year is 203. At AAA was 193. So I kind of see why the Red Sox are doing what they're doing. He's a lefty, and they have to see right now, hey, is this guy, like, is that small sample legit? Because that's someone that could really help them in the postseason. If they've got a lefty no one knows about that can come in, even if he ends up being like a long reliever, it could be invaluable in the postseason. So, the other thing I was going to say, and I'll go back to Bryan, Pirates have been bottom 5 all year in Major League Baseball WRC plus against left-handed pitching. I'd be shocked if they do much here. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, the Pirates have only won 20 road games all season long. Just as we're talking about it, the Red Sox are getting hit. Now see upwards of 120 at Caesars.
Oh, wow.
So
that's big time hit.
Yeah, so they've gotten hit. It's basically 115 now for Boston, and I would expect that. And maybe we should have done this game to lead off. We might have got a better number.
Yeah, I was going to say I think Red Sox, you could have got minus 105 when we were coming on air, I believe is what I had jotted down. I still think under 8 has some value. I feel like if Tolle is any good, I think you're going to get a really, strong effort from Skeens here. And if that's the case, Tokyo Brandon made a good point. The Pirates do have some bullpen arms, and I think today is the day that Lawrence will rejoin the team. So I said yesterday, when we were talking Pirates Cardinals, I don't think that was logistically possible playing the day game. My guess is you see Justin Lawrence out of the pen for the Pirates tonight, who has really been one of their better relievers this season, and he'll be coming back up from AAA. So yeah, Pirates have some decent bullpen arms. It's a good point, TB. And Mark Hinton, yes, this is Tolle's Major League Baseball debut. Again, started at high A, so it's a big jump in season. We'll see if he can handle it. That's 2 unders for me, though. I lean under right there. All right, let's keep it moving. Travis, let's go to Travis. Travis Helms in here every day grinding it out. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate you, Travis, but everyone that comes in, interacts with the show on a daily basis, whether it be live or on demand on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Travis says, are the Dodgers going to chase Gallen early? It's hard to tell if the Dodgers are interested from day to day. That's true, but Bryan, Leonard, they got to be interested now, right? Because it's September. It's like playoff baseball. And they've got the Padres in striking distance. So this is going to take us out west. This is Dodgers, and they're going to host Arizona tonight. Looks like Gallen versus Blake Snell. What about Travis's question? What are your thoughts on the Dodgers day to day and their sort of mindset right now?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. They get up for their rivals in the division, and although Arizona is not having a good season, they're 11.5 games out. Keep in mind, just a couple of years ago, they went to the World Series. They got a lot of good young talent on this team. Not a fan of Gallen. I think he could get hit here. We're looking at Snell's going for the Dodgers, a lefty, and Snell's been terrific when he's healthy. We're looking at about a 190 favorite for the Dodgers, total of 8.5 to the under. When I take a look at Gallen, comes in with a 5.13 ERA, 4.70 expected. He has pitched much better lately than he had in the first half of the season, but his whip is still high, 1.31, and really doesn't have anything really dark red on the Statcast page, which means he's struggled in just about everything all season. He's better than he was earlier, but he's not the way he was in the past. Just the last 2 years, he had a 3.65 ERA, 3.47. So he's had a down season, and don't want to trust him here against these Dodgers bats. They still don't have Muncy back. Muncy is such a huge addition to this Dodgers lineup because since he's got his glasses, and TB will tell you about that, but since he's got his glasses, he's a much better hitter, and he's been on fire when he's been able to play. Snell comes in 1.97 ERA, 4.17 expected. Small sample size, only 32 innings, but he's been a little bit lucky so far. Comes in with a 1.38 whip, which isn't really something that he does. He does have a high walk rate, but that's because if he falls behind somebody, he will put them on base and go after the next guy. There's a few guys that have done that, and they've had a lot of success doing it. He's one of them that does that. So you have to keep that in mind. But we know we're going to get out of Snell, but he has been a little bit lucky so far this year. But if I'm playing it, I'm laying it because I don't want any part of Zach Gallen here. And this is the time, as you mentioned, the Dodgers only have a 2-game lead over the Padres, and the Padres have matched up pretty well against them.
I don't want any part of Zach Gallen either. Isn't it funny? Like when we were watching baseball in the 90s and the 2000s, a 5 ERA meant you got sent down. But now a 5 ERA is acceptable in Major League Baseball, which is crazy. A 5+ ERAs, it means you're awful. Sorry, but it means you're awful. And Zach Gallen has a 5+ ERA. He's got a 1.31 whip, which is unusual. Here's Blake Snell's numbers are quite unusual. Blake Snell has a 1.39 whip or 1.38 whip, but his ERA is under 2. So it means he's gotten a little bit lucky. He's let a few guys, too many guys on base. He's let more guys on base than Gallen actually, but he gets out of it. And he's, this Dodgers, I have been trashing the Dodgers bullpen all season, but actually I have them ranked 13 in current form, which is pretty good considering Arizona's is 22. So what I really like here is Blake Snell's stats against these batters in his career. And it's a really good sample size of 102 at-bats against, 186 average against, and a 644 OPS. That's amazing. Gallen's numbers against the batters he's facing today are pretty average, pretty even, not glaringly horrible, but not very good. So if anything, one last stat about Blake Snell. At home in 20 innings, he's got a 0.90 ERA. That's pretty amazing. So I don't think there's any way you could look besides the Dodgers here. The fact that they're top 3, they're big 3, Freeman, Betts, and Ohtani, even if they're all 3 cold in one game, the Dodgers have the luxury of having someone in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to step up. And the Diamondbacks, I don't think have that anymore since getting rid of Naylor and Suarez. So Dodgers are nothing for me. Maybe take a -1.
I somewhat disagree with like the Diamondbacks not having the lineup anymore because like this lineup's still top 5 in baseball WRC plus, and like Suarez and Naylor are big names and they probably cost them some pop, but their team speed and like just the ability to put the ball in play, score runs, if Arizona's pitching didn't totally let them down this year, this is an easy playoff team. Like easily they're in the playoffs. But that's unfortunately what's happened to them. Guys like Zach Gallen have not been as good as what they've been historically. Was it Corbin Burns, right? Goes down like early in the year. So you lose him. And then, of course, the bullpen, which was supposed to be a strength. Like this was a bullpen that was supposed to have Justin Martinez, AJ Puck. It was supposed to be a good bullpen. These guys get hurt, and it's been awful. Turnbuckle Tommy, I see you yesterday. He said his best bet was Orioles Red Sox under. We talked about that game that got there easily. I said I agreed with him. I'm going to ride with Turnbuckle Tommy here again. He says over in the Dodgers game. The Diamondbacks, I think they don't even have to say left-handed pitching. They just hit pretty good. Like this is still a lineup that can really hit. They just smacked around everything the Brewers had to offer for 4 days. And you want to talk about the other side of that being, the Arizona they haven't had a day off, 4 days, 7-5, 9-8. Yesterday, 2 days ago, 3-2, where they needed top bullpen arms. And then yesterday they hold on 6-4. There's zero depth in that bullpen. So chances are if you get Gallen out early, that means Gallen gave up a few runs. And that also means you're getting cracks at this Diamondbacks bullpen, which isn't very good. You look at a number like 8.5. Can you get something here from the Diamondbacks? Yeah, I like Snell as much as the next person does. I don't know that you're going to just totally shut this Diamondbacks lineup out for 9 straight innings. So that 8.5 seems low. Big totals guy today. That's 3 games for me, and I have 3 totals. But I that's another one where the way I would play this would have to be the over. I think it's about a half run to a run off. So Turnbuckle Tommy, I'm with you. This feels like an over right here, especially if Arizona does anything here. That one's going over the total, in my opinion. Yeah, hit that like button. He says 100 likes and TB will smile. I don't know. TB's always smiling. I'm the one that gets called out for being too serious. TB's always smiling. But we'll take the likes. So hit that like button.
I'm anything but serious. You guys know me.
Oh, no, I know. I was saying I'm the one that's too serious.
You? Yeah. You do.
But yeah, we appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment. It really helps the show. So we very much appreciate that. And we got to go to this game. We got boots on ground right here. Jack Barco said he is going to be front row at the Twins game. That's pretty awesome. Is that Target Field? Bryan Leonard, have you been to Target Field?
No, I've always wanted to go to Minnesota. I think I'm going to go next year. I've got some people that I know that live there, and I've heard good things about it. And plus, I want to head up to maybe Milwaukee too, and go to the Leinenkugel's brewery up there in upper Wisconsin. So maybe make a little weekly trip and catch a few different ball games.
You should go to St. Louis too.
I've been to St. Louis. Beautiful setup.
Yeah.
I'll meet you if you do the Twins Park next summer, I'll take a ride up there. We host college baseball kids. Like it's something my fiance's family has done in town for like a long time. We have a college team, and one of the kids that's lived with us for 2 years is going to play in Minnesota. And I think he's going to try to play in that Northwoods League next year. So I need a reason to get out to Minnesota. I think that and Target Field would do it for me. So next summer, we're going to go to Target Field. Tonight, Jack Barco's going to Target Field, and he needs some action while he's sitting right there front row, which is awesome. He's going to get to see Zebby Matthews probably pump fastballs in there, and throw a ton of strikes. The question is he going to see a Twins win? I don't know. The team that might catch the Dodgers, Bryan, the San Diego Padres Twins. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, Padres Cortez, the lefty against Matthews. We're looking at basically a 130 favorite for San Diego, 8.5 slightly to the over. So Target Field is playing pretty neutral in this game. Slight wind to the to left field coming in, but nothing that's going to affect the game at all. When we're looking at Cortez, he's got a 4.66 ERA, 5.54 expected, 1.34 WHIP. He's only thrown 29 innings, so it's not quite enough for the StatCast page to see a lot. But what they do see are not good numbers His fastball velocity 6%, extension 10%. Throws his four-seamer, cutter, and change and sweeper just about every time. Sinker 1% of the time, but I do like lefties, and he's coming in here against Zebby Matthews, who has been, unfortunately, a disappointment at this level. We've talked about him in the past, what he used to do last year, what he's doing this year, but he still comes in with a 5.30 ERA, although the expected is 4.40, but his whip 1.52, and he's not walking people. He's 7.7%, which is less than league average. He's getting hit, and he's in the 13th percentile in barrel rate, 14th or 16th percentile in ground ball rate, and hard hit percent isn't very good either. So he has not lived up to my expectations, and I'm sure if you're a Twins fan, you're a little bit frustrated also. But they're not going anywhere. They got no reason to throw out older guys that aren't going to be in their future. So they try to bring up these younger guys, and I still think he's got a bright future, but I can't trust him at this price in this situation. If I played it, I would lay it with Cortez on the road. And if you're looking at that Central Division in the American League, the only team with a positive run differential on the season is the Tigers. It's been a disappointing year in that division after I think they've got 3 teams to playoffs either last year or the year before. It's fallen on hard times this year.
Again, we have Zebulon going against Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez has some weird numbers. If you take a look at his last 5 starts, he got blown up in one of them. I mean, he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. That's kind of getting blown up. If you remove that, he hasn't given up more than 2 runs in a start in 5 starts. That's pretty good numbers. So looking at that, you think, cover his name, and you think, this is a pretty good pitcher. Then you look at his numbers. He's got a 4.66 ERA. That's not good. And he's got a 1.34 whip. That's not very good either. So I'm perplexed here. His numbers look good on his game log, but they don't look good on his actual statistics. However, he does have good numbers against these Minnesota batters in his history. Problem is, those were probably acquired years ago. He's been in the league for a while. So that's the breakdown on Nestor Cortez. Now, Zebby Matthews, he has not been very good at all. He's got, 4.42 ERA at home. Not very good. Not terrible. Not very good, though. And he's given up a lot of earned runs. He's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 starts. He's given up 4 or more earned runs 3 times in his last 7 starts. So don't have a lot of faith in Zebulon today. Who hits better? Well, they're both pretty much even, but I don't think anyone would argue that the Padres don't have more talent. They certainly do. But they're not, they're kind of in a little quagmire here. The Padres are. They have a lot more talent, and they have a much better bullpen. I've said in shows past, they've probably got one of the top 2 bullpens in Major League Baseball. So I would think you go with the Padres or nothing here, because we just talked about the Dodgers fighting for a playoff position. Well, the Padres are the team they're fighting with, and I think they'll step it up here. I don't think Nestor Cortez is that bad. I don't think he's as bad as Zebby Matthews. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, Brian, I'm kind of with you on Zebby. I expected more out of him this year. I think this is a guy, though. Don't give up on him. Like this, This is a guy that you want to be high on going into next season. Okay, he still throws 97. He has excellent swing and miss stuff. He is like a tweak or 2 away from being really, really good. And the problem is, it's very difficult to do that mid-season at the big league level. That's something like he needs a big league off season, go into spring, have everything go right from a health standpoint. And if that happens, expect him to come out and just be shutting dudes down come next year. Like I don't think he's that far off. And that's why I refuse to really bet against him at this point, because I just can't have that happen to myself where it's like I decide to go against him and suddenly it clicks and he comes out and fires 7 scoreless, because that is absolutely what his ceiling is. Like if he's a tweak or two away from being like an ace, in my opinion. So can't fade that. Can't really, the other thing is too, I can't really bet the Twins. And I'll go to, it's Grant in the comments says, you never really know what you're going to get out of this Twins bullpen. He calls it a AAA bullpen. That's a very reasonable assessment. They traded away every leverage reliever they had. And so now it's like, you really don't know what you're getting from the Twins from a relief standpoint. And unlike the White Sox, like this is kind of what the White Sox have done for a while, but it's kind of worked for them. And they've shown like they've got some good arms. Whereas like the Twins, it's like, they haven't really shown any consistency in this department, in my opinion, since they traded all these guys away. And so, yeah, like even if the Twins have a good, like maybe you could take Zebby first 5, but do you want this Twins team full game? Especially going back to what TB said, the Padres probably have the best leverage arms in the league. I think it's safe to say the Padres leverage bullpen arms are as good as it gets. And I'm with you, TB. I would put the Padres bullpen 1 or 2 as well. So this is tough. I'm going to pass this over to Bryan Leonard. I have nothing here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Cortez is coming off his best start of the season, and it was against the Dodgers. He went 6 innings, only gave up 1 base runner. Did everything click and he figure it out, or did he just happen to have his best start and you're backing him off his best start, which is something I usually don't want to do. But I think the way I'm going to take a look at this game is hope that Minnesota takes an early lead and then come in and get San Diego at plus money because of that bullpen, as was mentioned. Huge bullpen discrepancy between these two, and the Padres bullpen has the Padres, the Mets. There's a lot of great bullpens out there, but they're one of the best, and so I want them in the second half of this game. So that's how I'm going to look at it. If you're betting it live, wait till Minnesota takes the lead in the game, and then just come back and bet the Padres.
All right, let's go to this one. This is let's go to the AL Central here. I have an opinion in this one, and we may have we're 23 minutes away from the end of the show. Haven't locked in any parlay legs, but I think that might change here. That being said, I'm going to let Bryan Leonard kick us off. Tigers, Royals. Bryan, this is your Royals team here. You were the one that said, hey, why is no one talking about the Royals? They had a nice trade deadline. If anyone's going to sneak back in it, maybe it's them. Huge series at home for them here against the Tigers.
Yeah, they're now up to a 13% chance of making the playoffs. Having trouble finding it on. Okay, here we go. Current line on this one, we've got Detroit with Javier, or excuse me, wrong game. Sorry, Detroit with Paddock against Lugo. Yeah, Detroit's not playing well. Kansas City's been hitting better than they have earlier in the season. I'd kind of like Lugo here. I thought the line should have been higher. I would have said maybe 130 would be the opening line on this game with Lugo, and you can get them for, there's many places out there where you can get them for less than 120, but 120 is about the average. Total of 9 in this one. Paddock's a guy that I'm usually trying to fade, and he comes in. He's very good at the walk rate. Doesn't walk a lot of players. He's in the 91st percentile in the walk rate, 92nd in extension because he's 6'5", and 84th in chase. But everything else is in the blue. Comes in with a 4.98 ERA, 4.83 expected. Because last year his ERA was 4.99. The year before 5.40. I know ERA is not the perfect stat, but it gives you an idea on what we can expect out of him. But expected batting average 11th percentile, whiff rate 14th, strikeout rate 13th, hard hit 21st, ground ball 23rd. So he's a fly ball pitcher in Kansas City. Kansas City's normally a pretty good place. It limits fly balls for home runs, but it's been up a little bit this year. It's played a little bit differently than it has in the past. And he's going against Lugo. Seth Lugo, if you take a look at his StatCast page, there's no red on it. He's a 10-year veteran. He's 35 years old. He's not going to beat you with his stuff. He's going to beat you with guile. And even though his ERA is at 3.99 this year, the last 2 years it was 3 and 3.57. His expected is 5.19. But if you go back and look at what he's done through his entire career, each of the last 5 years, he's outperformed his expected ERA, and that's because he throws a lot of junk up there. He throws, 9 different pitches. 2 of them only 1 and 2% of the time, but he's got the most he throws is his cutter at 23%. I love these pitchers. And if you don't get a major strikeouts, he struck out 120 and 142 innings. He doesn't average a strikeout per inning. He's a guy that we find, at least I find, a lot of value on, because a lot of people will look and they want the guys to strike people out. Of course you do. That means that the ball isn't in play, and you don't have to worry about the Yankees defense having another error. It's the kind of thing that you do. So I like Kansas City here. I think there's a value on them. I would have made it 130. So that gives us a little bit of an advantage here on Kansas City. And you can get it as low as, 116 out there right now.
Couldn't agree with Bryan more. I like Lugo too. And I love these kind of pitchers that have tons of different pitches that they can throw because they last longer. And they tend to be the cerebral type pitchers. These are the kind of pitchers I enjoy watching. And so I'm a big Lugo fan. I actually am. And Paddock is awful. Sorry, he's just bad. And on the road, he's got like a 5.6 ERA on the road. Pretty bad numbers against these Kansas City batters. Lugo at home has a 3.2 ERA. Really nice. He's got a 1.24 whip on the season. Very nice. A 3.99 ERA, which is pretty nice as well. And looking at his last few starts, yeah, he had a couple rough starts. I mean, 3 of his last 4 starts were rough. But I think he's going to bounce back here. I like Lugo at home. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make this my parlay leg. I think Royals minus 120 on the money line will be my leg for today.
Love it. That's what I was going to do, and I'm fine with that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you did that because I have other opinions, and I'd rather have someone else take it. So that's perfect. Okay. What are we looking at for money line there right now, Bryan?
Yeah, about 120 or so.
I think I like Lugo too. I just love all the tools he's got, and he's not a flamethrower, but I just like watching him pitch. He's fun to watch.
So I got a question really this could be for the chat or it's for both of you. Does anyone see AL Central betting odds right now out there, like to win the division? Because I just checked 4 different sites, and for whatever reason, they don't have the AL Central up.
Yeah.
Why?
They won't. It's the Tigers got a 99.8% chance of making the playoffs. They're 8.5 games behind with 28 games to go. Yeah, if you had the chance to bet Detroit there, that's as close to a lock as you could probably get. And
I see what you're saying. If you had a chance to bet Detroit, listen, the Royals could put the Royals could put a little pressure on them this weekend if they have a good series, especially if they were to sweep. 8.5 back. The Royals have a very manageable September schedule. They're going to get 3 head-to-head games here with the Tigers. They're probably going to win tonight. I like them tonight as well. So that's why I was asking. Pizza money on the Royals to win this division is not crazy. The Tigers, let's say this tightens up. Let's say the Royals have a good weekend. They get it down to 6.5 or 5.5. And they're able to sort of chill there. Maybe they make up a game or 2. The Tigers end the season with a pretty tough road trip. It's going to be Cleveland and Boston for the Tigers at the end of the year. The Royals, for the most part, very favorable September schedule. So maybe it's not to win the division, but if you're looking at like Royals to make the playoffs, anything pro Royals, I think I'm okay with that. And I would just take flyers on them everywhere because they've got a home series here against Detroit, who is just playing awful. They just aren't playing good ball. And I think they're at a disadvantage here for the reasons that the boys have described already. I'm not going to rehash that. But then for the Royals, it's home against the Angels, home against the Twins. Those 2 teams are out of it. At Cleveland, that's manageable. The Phillies trip will be tough, but then it's Mariners and Blue Jays both at home. By that point, the Jays might be just going through the motions, resting guys. They'll probably have it wrapped up. And then they finish up with the Angels and the A's. That's much more favorable than the Tigers, in my opinion, who are going to have the Mets, the Yankees, and then they finish on the road against 2 teams that might still need wins. So Royals to make the playoffs, I would ladder the Royals if you can. Win the AL Central, make the playoffs, and all different things. It's a lotto ticket to an extent, but one that's more realistic than people think. And then as far as today, TB took the parlay leg right out of my mouth. Royals money line is a great bet, in my opinion. That's okay. I'll write that down. So we're going to start it with the Royals. I love that. And let's see. Greg Ross says, hate to go off topic. Mets better play the. Oh yeah, I thought. Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Jonah Tong. We started the show with that. So if you're looking for Mets, if you are looking for Mets Marlins and our opinions on that one, that was the beginning of the show. David says the Jays will play it out for the division. How about tonight, Bryan Leonard? Is this a World Series preview in your opinion? We've got Blue Jays, Brewers. My gut tells me one of these teams isn't getting there, but they're both certainly in the conversation, and they're going to play each other tonight in a sort of a rare interleague series. So Jays, Brewers, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, this is one that kind of popped out to me early on. I haven't put up any plays yet at this point, but this is one that I thought had a little bit of value. If I can get to the spot here, Jason. Okay. We know that Milwaukee does not need the wins. They've got a pretty good sizable lead in the division. Milwaukee comes in 6.5 above the Cubs. The Cubs continue to falter. They're on a 3-game losing streak coming into this game here. But Milwaukee, I like the way they use their lineup. Everybody plays. So they've got guys, even though they might not rest a star once in a while, they've got other guys that can get into the lineup. They do very well with the lefty-righty situation. They're one of the best coached teams in baseball, despite leaving the closer in to get hurt the other day. Okay, I'm over it. But when you take a look at the line in this game, I think there's value on them. They got Freddie Peralta going here against Shane Bieber. Now, love Shane Bieber. Great guy, huge character in Cleveland. I wish him all the best. And he comes out and throws a gem in his first start off the IL. It's been a long time since he has pitched. I think people are believing, they're becoming believers in Bieber. And I don't know if I'm there yet. The line right now is about the 130 range, and you're getting a total of either 8.5 under or 7.5, or excuse me, 8 under or 7.5 over. To get Milwaukee, and you can get Milwaukee upwards of 120 in this game, I find value in that. Freddie Peralta is having an outstanding year. One of my favorite handicappers that handicap pitchers has moved him up in the top 5 in Major League Baseball this year. He said he's a guy that deserves it, and I agree. He's had a hell of a season. It comes in with a 2.68 ERA, 3.45 WHIP, 3.45 expected, 1.10 WHIP. The only thing he does that's not good is his 27th percentile ground ball rate. So he's a fly ball pitcher, and he does tend to walk batters. He's walked 9.4 this season, just about 1.5 more than league average. I like Freddie Peralta. I like the Milwaukee bullpen for the most part. Shane Bieber, guy, as I mentioned, he came in, pitched great. He 1.50 ERA, 0.33 WHIP, but his expected ERA was 3.42. Now, if he comes out with a 3.42 in that game instead of the 1.50, maybe people aren't betting on Shane Bieber as much as they are right now. Obviously, it's only 6 innings, so it's a small sample size. So there's not a lot there. But keep in mind, he only threw 166 pitches last year, which is basically 2 games, really. And he didn't pitch again since 2023. So it's been a long time he's out. I'm not buying that. It's worked for the Brewers, one of the Brewers pitchers. Anyway, he's come back and looked really good all year long. But I can't expect that in here. And this is a pretty good hitting ballpark. So I like Milwaukee in this game. In fact, I'm going to use that as my part of the parlay here. I'm going to take Milwaukee. We can get, let's go 116. You can get better than that, but We'll go 116 on my part of the parlay here with Milwaukee.
Yeah, guys, go to the replay and leave a comment and a like and subscribe to Wager Talk's YouTube channel. It goes a long way. It tells Wager Talk that you like us and that you like our show and that you like the information we're giving. You know, the point of this show is not just to give free plays and stuff. It's to give you guys information so you can make smart bets. We think that's just as valuable as just giving you a play. So, yeah, and check our pages out at wagertalk.com. We got a lot of stuff up. Usually we have free plays almost every day. So regarding this one, this is going to be a great game to watch because these are two well put together teams. And these are two really good pitchers. I like, you know, if you look at the numbers against the batters they're facing today, Peralta, his sample size is small against these Blue Jays, 24 at bats against, but a 167 average and a 564 OPS. That's amazing. Justin Bieber, 38 against and 211 average and a 637 OPS. Yes, I said that on purpose, you guys. So my first inclination would be to take an under, but Toronto, man, they're batting number 3 in MLB right now as far as run production and current form. Hard to take an under with that. And like Bryan mentioned, I was going to mention the same thing. Peralta's walk rate is a little bit too high for me. But the way he's dominated these batters, it's only 20 something at bats against, but he's absolutely dominated them. So I'm definitely not going to bet an under with Toronto. If anything, maybe a Milwaukee under, but the fact that Bieber still has only one start since he came back, and not a big enough sample size for me. If he had 3 starts where he was just shut down, then maybe I would take a Milwaukee under here, but I'm not going to do it today.
I miss when they used to let the players put their names on the back of the jerseys for Players Weekend.
That, yeah.
Because Shane Bieber had one of the more famous ones. He just had "Not Justin" on the back of his jersey, and I feel like it got probably, you know, that and the most famous one will always be Dick Mountain, of course. That's Rich Hill from Players Weekend. But
how about
he hate me? He hate me is the most famous.
He hate me. Yeah, he hate me.
He hate me.
Was I don't know. He's one of the defunct football leagues.
Way back in the XFL.
XFL.
This actually. So not even joking. Would have used Brewers as my parlay league here, or some fashion, or some way. I didn't know if I was going to do Brewers or maybe a Brewers team total over, but Bryan made that easy for me. He put Brewers in the parlay. I want to point out, like, Bieber had quite a long rehab. He was coming off of a very serious injury that you know, it's like a long-term sort of a long recovery type thing. He had a very cushy rehab run. Okay. He was in AAA. He had his whole deal through the lower levels. In 3 starts at AAA, he faced Syracuse before all the young guys like the Ryan Clifford, Carson Benji, all those guys came up. Terrible lineup. He faced Worcester after their lineup was pretty much already depleted. So it was probably just Justins and Garcia and like nobody else. And then he faced Lehigh Valley, who they didn't get like Mercado and Otto Kemp back until like last week. So he pretty much had 3 very watered down, poor AAA lineups. And then of course, what does he get in his 2025 debut? A Marlins team without Kyle Stowers. So he's had a very fortunate run. And I think people are going to look and say, oh, wow, 190 ERA, 23.2 innings. This is his August numbers right here, ladies and gentlemen. 23 2/3, a 190 ERA, a 0.80 whip. The Brewers this is going to be a little bit of a different ball game tonight because this is a team, whether they're like going all out or not from like a managerial standpoint, he's still going to have to deal with the Brewers lineup 1 through 9. They get on, they steal bases, they put a lot of pressure on you. The reason that they were losing games to the Diamondbacks was not their offense. They hit the ball just fine. It's that Arizona put some runs up in that series. So yeah, I think Bieber might have, it's not going to be as easy. And if the Brewers don't win this game, I do think they'll hit their team total of over 3.5. So just another way to look at it. I think Bieber's going to give some runs up in this one. And 3.5 seems cheap on the team total, but I like the way Bryan went for the parlay here. Brewers money line is great value. Anything better than even money, in my opinion, is really good value right there. I got to find a game now. That's back-to-back games. I thought I was locking in the parlay leg, and now I got to find a game. So let's see. Let's pivot right here. And that's the other thing. I hadn't really committed to much yet today. And the two things I kind of had jotted down at this point were Brewers and Royals. So let's see if we can find one to let's see if we can find one to close this out.
We can make it a 2-leg.
Well, I mean,
let's go back to the Mets under.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. I think my two strongest opinions were the totals that we talked about earlier. Maybe the three. I had 3 totals. So watch me pick the wrong one right here. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, if you go back to the beginning of the show, and as always, these shows are up live and on demand. I had 3 totals I talked about. Mets, Marlins under, Red Sox, Pirates under, Dodgers, Diamondbacks over. If I had to pick the strongest of those 3, I think it's Mets, Marlins, based on the fact that Bryan kind of confirmed what my thought with the ballpark factors and the fact that it doesn't look like the ball is going to carry a ton, and the fact that Citi Field has played better toward pitching and toward fly ball pitching this year. So is that still under 8, Bryan? Mets, Marlins?
You can get under 8. It's more like 120 right now, or you can get under 7.5 at even money.
No, we'll go under 8 minus 120. I want that 8. So, and we already, and you got us some nice plus money in the parlay with the Brewers. So I'm good with that. Let's go under 8 minus 120. And the Royals, was that also minus 120? Did we decide?
That was minus 120. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to rehash that game. We did that extensively at the top. But I do think if I had to pick my favorite total on the board today, it's that one. And that'll be the third leg of the parlay. So this is a good one. We need one of these. This is plus 626. We desperately need a parlay win to get ourselves back ahead on the parlays this season. And that's what it's going to be. So parlay of the day, Trig, total, Mets, Marlins under 8. Bryan Leonard's going with an underdog on the Brewers, plus money, plus 116. Tokyo Brandon on the Royals, minus 120. Not bad, 6-1 or 626 plus 626, better than 6-1. Hopefully, we can finish this week with a winning parlay. I think, can't remember the last time. I think did we hit one on Monday? Maybe it was a smaller one.
I think it was a 2-teamer, maybe. Something like
anyway,
that. It's been a while since we've hit a 3-teamer. We're due.
Yeah.
Parlays are hard to hit. I don't bet parlays, but most of the time we're winning 2 out of 3. But we've had days where we've gone 0-3. I mean, it happens. But I think we've gone 3-0 more than we've gone 0-3.
For sure. And I like this one a lot, obviously, because I was going to pick the 2 legs you guys picked, and I got to add my total in there. So that's one more time. 3-team parlay. We've got Royals money line for Tokyo Brandon. We've got Brewers money line for Bryan Leonard. And I'm going to come in. It's Tong time at Citi Field tonight. Jonah Tong, Yuri Perez. I think both are going to pitch well. I'll call it a 3-2 final. You're going to see under 8. Mets, Marlins, plus 626. That's it for the week. Andy Lang says, great week of shows. Andy, we appreciate you tuning in. Go tune into Wager Talk today, noon Eastern. On the Wager Talk YouTube channel. That's going to get you ready for the college football weekend. College football is back. I don't know if the Cuse have a chance tomorrow against Tennessee, but maybe we'll see. Hopefully they can give us a competitive game. I've got some friends going down to Atlanta for that one. Everyone enjoy the football this weekend and the baseball. I know we'll be enjoying the baseball. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back here Monday morning. Have a great weekend, everybody.